Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Crossing the Line. We're going to take a look at the story from Timcast today about those terrible fires they've had over in Maui, over in Hawaii, and some of the deceptive things that realtors and rich people basically are doing to these natives and doing to these poorer people who've just lost everything in those fires. And the fires were a bit suspect anyway. I mean, there's a lot of questions to be asked about that. I don't believe they were made by any Chinese space lasers or anything like that. But we can just see the massive amount of devastation, and there seemed to be a corresponding failure from the local government and local law enforcement and local emergency services that just seem to compound on these poor people and just make the destruction that much worse. Now we'll take a look at this story from Timcast. Hawaii locals worry Maui rebuilding effort will push out natives. Government vows we don't want to be another example of people being priced out of paradise. As of late August 13th, nearly 100 people were confirmed dead following the inferno that quickly swept over the Hawaiian islands of Maui days prior. I believe it's at least 111 people dead now. The fire began as a brush fire, which was reported to the county of Maui 5 days ago at 6:37 a.m. According to the county's Facebook page, evacuations around Lahaina and an intermediate school were immediately ordered. The fire crews were quickly on scene battling the blaze. Maui County declared the Lahaina fire, which hit as firefighters were battling a separate wildfire further east, fully contained around 10 a.m, but officials say there was a flare-up around 3:30 p.m, fueled by strong winds from Hurricane Dora that blew the fire so quickly it travelled the length of an entire football field at a rate of 20 seconds or less. The fire forced more than 11,000 people to flee from their homes, having quickly to dive into the ocean to escape the flames. Hawaii's second largest island, known for its beaches and idyllic views of migrating humpback whales, is now location of the deadliest US blaze in more than a century. The Maui Police Department confirmed 96 fatalities on August 14th. Only 3% of the affected homes have been searched. At least 1,000 people remain missing. Ominous signs of the death toll could rise substantially. Now, just a note I did hear today. Turns out the guy who was running the police department and Maui Police Department was actually the guy who was running point on the Las Vegas shooting back in the day with Stephen Paddock. Just a little weird side note there, a little bit more of a question to be asked. As locals continue to confront the direct impact of the fire had on the city, they're simultaneously worried about another grave threat that rebuilding efforts will target affluent outsiders who will use the crisis to displace native Hawaiians and local-born residents. Richie Pele, 25, who was born and raised in Lahaina, told the Associated Press that he was concerned of big land developers coming in and seeing the child land an opportunity to rebuild, he said in a text message written at a shelter for evacuees. Hotels and condominiums that can't afford to live in, that we're afraid of, he added. The fire destroyed Pele's restaurant neighbourhood and possibly 4-bedroom home where he is paying $1,000 per month rent in a single room, the AP reported. As of June, Maui's county median home was $1.25 million, up 13.6% from the same month last year. Median sales prices, condo units in the country hit $832,500 at a 34.3% increase from the $620,000 median price in 2021. So a lot of more recent arrivals, typically from the American mainland, who have more money and can buy homes at a higher price, percent to the exact extent displacing local families from Lahaina. Sterling Heiger and the Executive Director for Housing Hawaii's Future, a non-profit organisation that advocates for the housing in Hawaii, told the AP discussing how the town is subject to gentrification. As they deal with the frustration of the fires, insurance companies or firefighters, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, which many of them have well leave because they have no other options. Heiger said a TikTok account using the name Lahaina Fire Updates posted a video of a woman who says the real estate investors are calling for local residents in a bid to purchase their properties. This is the disturbing thing that we've been seeing. A lot of these people are getting phone calls after they've lost everything. The only thing they have is the shirt on their back and the phone in their pocket. And they're getting phone calls from people wanting to buy their properties already. That is vultures circling a corpse. That is disgusting. That is tactics that I'm not surprised. I mean, we can kind of see why they would want to be doing that. It's like a whole bunch of it's the picture of that house that you see, like, say, on Gold Coast main beach, and it's like an old Queensland, old shitty old house that the old stubborn person has not sold. That's what a lot of these communities were like. It's they hadn't sold, they kept their houses and kept their communities so that they could actually still live there, because if they were bought over by rich people, like Oprah owns a massive swath of land over there. If they were bought by those people, they would not be able to afford to live there. So they're trying to keep their cultural and like heritage homes there and land, but they are now being priced out, and they are being vultured and picked apart by vultures. And this is just one of the TikTok videos here.
Kalamai, sorry, had a little bit poor reception right there. If you are a victim and they are calling you, please get their name. People keep calling me, sorry. Get their business name so we can put them on blast. This is some pilau heva shit happening right now. I am so frustrated hearing since yesterday that multiple families that I know personally were reached out and offered money from investors and realtors. Shame on you. Shame on you.
Now, a lot of people think that these fires could have even been started to burn down these houses so they could buy the land back cheaper. That's a pretty bold statement. I mean, we've seen how deadly fires can be here in Australia, and just how bad they are in Canada at the moment as well. It just seems to be a lot of weird things that have happened with this fire. I think one of the weirdest and saddest things yet is that Joe Biden, President of the United States, has not even addressed these people, has not gone there. He was planning a trip there recently, but now he has just decided he is going on another holiday. A man who has spent, I think, like 40% of his presidency on holiday is ignoring the victims of Maui, ignoring the victims of his own country, and then sending billions and billions of dollars overseas to Ukraine. It seems to be the thing that all governments do. They ignore the needs and wants of their own people and then send money overseas. Our government does it. The UK government does it. America does it. It's just the only countries that don't do that seem to be places like China and Russia. Do they hate us? I mean, we're the ones that vote and put them in power. I mean, these people here, probably a lot of them voted for Joe Biden or the Democrats, you know, if they voted at all. And they are now reaping the consequences of their choice. I mean, it's sad to say, but that's what it is. I mean, if you vote for a dictator and you know what he's like, and you've been proven that all these lies have come out and how much corruption there is, you go and vote for that, and then you go, why is he not helping us? It's because he doesn't care about you, and you should have known that. I mean, a lot of politicians don't care about people anyway, but you go and pick the one that's the least caring for their own people. At least Trump cared about his people, or at least he pretended to. I don't know if he does, but at least he pretends to care. If he actually does care, I wouldn't be surprised. But even the pretending to care is better than nothing. Joe Biden doesn't care. Joe Biden doesn't even know where he is. Governor Josh Green told reporters that he won't let Lahaina get too expensive for locals during the rebuilding effort. We want Lahaina to be part of the Hawaii forever. The AP quoted Green as saying, "We don't want it to be another example of people being priced out of paradise." County officials say that Lahaina fireburned 2,170 acres, and as of August 14th is 85% contained, while a separate fire in Kula burned an estimated 678 acres and now 60% contained. Two other smaller fires were reported, but both were contained days ago. The county has also has a water advisory in effect for Lahaina and Kula, and recommendations for only bottled water for drinking and brushing teeth, ice making, and food preparation. Now, that's another thing that happened there. Apparently, the fire hydrants in Maui, they ran out of water. They could not get water to them. The alarm system, the police chief there, the emergency services person, decided that they weren't going to be setting off the alarm system. Maui has the biggest and most advanced alarm system for things like volcanoes, hurricanes, and tsunamis and things like that. And they decided that the government decided that they weren't going to use it to warn people. I don't know if that would have helped anyone. There's not many places you can really go when you're on a little island like that, and the fire is between you and safety, and that's why these poor people were pushed into the ocean. And you see some of the, you can see some of the, we'll have a look here. We can see some of the, devastation there on the ground. This is insane. I mean, look at this. It looks like a story out of an apocalypse movie or something like that. All the cars burnt up on the highway, left there, and they had nowhere to go. There's footage of dead dogs laying in the street, and it just shows you how quickly, if you've seen any of the footage from there, how quickly those flames come over and just torch that entire area. And it seems to have left a lot of these rich people's homes alone. Lady Gaga, Oprah Winfrey, Will Smith, their homes weren't touched, their properties weren't burnt. It's rife for conspiracy. I don't know about it, but I did a story a few months ago about the Chinese space lasers from a Chinese satellite over Hawaii that were reportedly seen. Turns out the Chinese said that they were just monitoring pollution in the atmosphere. That's what the lasers were for. But I mean, the last couple of years we had, I would not put it out of reach for something like that to happen. But I think the easiest explanation is that these were just terrible circumstances of events, and that these people are using it to their benefit, and they are going to be poaching all these properties and trying to buy these multi-million-dollar properties up for cheap while these people are suffering. And they will be left out, and they will be left to their own devices. Joe Biden doesn't even care. He's sent them $700 per household. And whilst they're sending $100 billion over to Ukraine or whatever it is now, more money we've spent in Ukraine than the entire time they were in Afghan war. It's insane. It seems like these people have been forgotten, and these people have been left out to dry. And this is what governments do. This is what the people we vote in do every time we need them. It happened here in Australia. There's still all those multiple millions of dollars that were donated for the fire relief fund here in Australia to places like the Red Cross that never got redistributed to the people who needed it. And we just seem to have forgotten that. And when it happens again this fire season, when we have another massive amount of fires, which is brewing up, and it could very well be a bad fire season again here in Australia, it's going to be the same story, and people will just forget, and then they would just, we'll just blame the Prime Minister, and then he won't do anything. Like our Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, last time he was over in Hawaii or Vanuatu on holiday while Australia burnt down most of the time. And Biden seems to be doing the same thing. It just seems that they do not care for us or something. It's almost like they don't give a shit about the people that vote for them, and don't give a shit about the people in their own country. But who would have thought that'd be the case? What do you guys think anyway? Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.